What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video on the channel. If you're a Texas Rangers fan and you already know, this has been a really weird 2026 season. A little frustrating and honestly kind of confusing for the first 2 months, or for the first 2 months of the season. We're currently sitting at 22 and 24, second in the AL West, one game behind the no longer Oakland Athletics, but the, Sacramento Athletics. And we just dropped 2 out of 3 to Houston, who had one of the worst records in the all of Major League Baseball. So that's obviously frustrating in of itself. Though at least we did close out the series with a statement win on Sunday and an 8-0 beatdown over the Astros. So at least we ended on a high note at the very least, of course. Now we head to Colorado. We're currently playing the game right now as I'm recording to take on the Colorado Rockies. And before I get into the series preview of Rangers versus Rockies, we have to talk about the big elephant in the room, and that is Corey Seager. Corey Seager is on the injured list yet again in his tenure with the Texas Rangers. And look, I know that this sounds bad on the surface. This is one of our most highly paid players on the team, one of our top all-stars when healthy and producing well. But I want to make the case today that this might actually be okay for the Rangers currently at this point in the season. It might even be a good thing, so just stick with me here on this. So in regards to Seager, here's what we know so far about his back. As when we were going to go play the Houston Astros, he set out the first game, and that was a scheduled rest day for Corey Seager. However, the next 2 games in the series, he didn't play due to back spasms. So Corey Seager's on the 10-day injury list, retroactive to May 15th. That means his injury started on May 15th. Obviously, it's May 18th right now. So Corey Seager should be able to, if it's worst case scenario, he should be able to come back May 25th. And this is due to his lower back inflammation. He played on Wednesday, had an MRI, He last played on Wednesday, had an MRI, and visited a specialist down in Arlington, so he didn't even travel with the team to Colorado. And obviously the Rangers decided to give him more time. And like I said, because of the backdating, he could theoretically be available within a week. Now, let's be honest about something in this season for Corey Seager. He has not been himself, and we all know that. His batting line coming in to today is a 179 batting average, a 286 on base percentage, and a 353 slugging. So that's honestly rough, and that's not what we're paying over $30 million for to get that production from Corey Seager. And it's not just the offense either. His defensive metrics are slightly down, especially his outs above average stats from Baseball Savant. So all around, this has been a drastic step back for Corey Seager. And it's not the Corey Seager we know who's putting up monster numbers in his prime. This is a guy who I think has been personally battling maybe minor injuries, maybe this back injury in particular, all season long. And here's my take. And I've said this before on the channel, and I'll say it again. I actually worked in the Los Angeles Dodgers player development system for 2 seasons. So I have a little bit of context on what it looks like when a player is grinding through something they shouldn't be. Corey Seager is one of the best hitters in baseball when he's right, and we all know that. His career slash line is a 285 batting average, a 359 on base percentage, and a 504 slugging percentage. And all these numbers have been slightly drawn back by this year's production. So when healthy, Corey Seager is a force to be reckoned with, regardless of a right-handed pitcher or a left-handed pitcher. He's one of the best hitters in all of baseball. And as you remember, I fully understand he has aged and gotten older, but not too long ago in 2023, he finished second in the league in the AL MVP voting. And so my thought process is that generally you'd see a small decline year to year. And I know he has been injured, but this has been a drastic drop off. And I find it really hard to believe that it's just Corey Seager's talent has fallen off. I do think, like I said previously, that the injury could have been hampering him throughout the season. I think that maybe his back hasn't been right the entire season. He's been playing through it where he's okay enough to go, but not fully himself. And I think that's the issue. And as we know, he's dealt with injuries his entire career. And when you look at his numbers this year, it's pretty clear that something has been bothering him, at least in my opinion. Forcing him back out there wasn't going to do anybody any favors, and that's why I put him on the injured list. So here's the silver lining, in my opinion. I say we let him rest, let him actually get healthy, 100% healthy, and when he comes back, maybe we get the real Corey Seager that we know and love. The guy who can carry an offense, because honestly, a 179 batting average isn't helping anybody win. And then in regards to what this does for the team, now to make things even messier, and this is something a lot of casual fans may not even realize, is that Seager isn't the only middle infielder on the Rangers missing. So Josh Smith, who we got in the Joey Gallo trade a few years back, has been on the IL since earlier in the month with a glute strain, and then during his time on the injured list, he also had something wrong with his wrist, and unfortunately his situation got even more serious with him being hospitalized with viral meningitis. He's going to be in the hospital for at least another week before he can even think about baseball activities again, so we have to be praying for Josh Smith and his family. And honestly, it's a scary situation that goes beyond baseball. But going back to baseball, what that really means is our infield depth at the major league level is very thin with Seager and Josh Smith on the injured list. So obviously, Ezekiel Duran's been hitting well this year. He will get the time at shortstop. And then this actually gives a runway for Justin Foscue to show what he can do in a full extended look at the major league level, because now he is our starting second baseman for the time being. Going off back to Ezekiel Duran, he's been doing fine with a 270 batting average, 336 on base, and a 443 slugging percentage. But going to Justin Foscue, numbers are worse. However, his baseball savant metrics are better. It's a small sample size, but so far a 182 batting average, 182 on base, and a 318 slug. So like I said, just a small sample size, but he needs to produce, and this is Justin Foscue's time to produce, a former first-round pick in 2020. If he can't make the most of this, I think his time with the Rangers is going to be coming to an end, to be completely honest, because he has one option year remaining, and if he doesn't do anything, then he might just be DFA'd at the end of the season. But this is his audition, and he needs to make the most of it. Now moving on to who was called up, Michael Helman was called up in place of Corey Seager. He was recalled from AAA Round Rock, and if you don't know who Michael Helman is, I'll break him down for you. Helman was drafted by the Minnesota Twins in the 11th round back in 2018 out of Texas A&M. He's a Texas kid. He made his MLB debut on September 3rd, 2024 with the Twins. He came up to the Rangers organization on a waiver claim, and last May via the Pirates organization. And so far in AAA, he has not put up any impressive stat line so far. He has a 198 batting average, a 291 on base percentage, and a 344 slug, which equates to a 635 OPS with 5 homers and 5 steals. But the reason why he is still getting claimed by teams and still on a 40-man roster is because of two things. It's his speed and versatility. So Helman can pretty much play every single position on the field besides catcher and pitcher. So that's obviously valuable in of itself, especially since our middle infield is thin right now. Helman can come in as a pinch runner. He can play short. If we're in a pinch, he can play second. He could play anywhere. And so now our infield depth is Ezekiel Duran at short, Ezekiel Duran at short, Justin Foscue at second, and then we also have Michael Helman who can play second, and then we have Sam Haggerty as well who can play second. That kind of flexibility is genuinely valuable on a roster, especially one that's dealing with injuries like ourselves, and the speed is legitimate. He's in this 96th percentile in sprint speed per baseball savant, and he is still on 111 bases in the minors. So that's no fluke. That's real, genuine speed. And it's worth noting that his MLB sample size is still small, but he does have a 750 OPS in his short time in the majors, but it shows he can handle big league pitching to some extent, given that it is a small sample size. So obviously we can't expect him to be anything special, but if he can just be serviceable enough and provide speed and versatility, that's all we really need. But going into the Colorado Rockies series, before we get into the pitching matchup, we got to shout out Jake Berger, in my opinion, who has been the hottest bat on the Rangers roster lately. He was looking terrible early in the season, but he's been one of the top players this week in all of Major League Baseball. So hopefully he can keep this up in the series with the Colorado Rockies, because Coors Field is a great place for a hitter to stay hot. Since it's above sea level, you make contact, that ball's going to fly. But now let's go over to the series with the Colorado Rockies. So it's a 3-game series tonight, Tuesday and Wednesday. And if you look on paper, this is a winnable series, as the Rangers are going to see all year, if we're being completely honest. Like, if we could sweep the Rockies, that would be great. Currently, as I'm recording this, the Rockies are 18-29. They are one of the worst teams in all of baseball, and the Rangers, despite all the injury chaos, still have a quality pitching staff that should be able to take advantage. So tonight's, it's MacKenzie Gore on the mound against Colorado's Jose Quintana, who's been a veteran in the league for quite some time. Gore comes in with 3 wins, 3 losses with a 4.5 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, and 53 strikeouts in 48 innings. The ERA isn't flashy for Gore, but the strikeout rate is elite, and he's been pitching better as the season has gone on. I like Gore in this spot. He's got the stuff to dominate a bottom 3rd lineup, so I'm excited to see what he can do versus the Rockies tonight. As far as Quintana for Colorado, has 1 win, 2 losses with 3.97 ERA, the 1.41 WHIP, and only 16 strikeouts in 34 innings. So the WHIP tells you the real story with Quintana. He's been putting on a lot of guys on base. Texas needs to make him work and get into the middle of that Colorado bullpen early and put up a crooked number so we can just get the offense rolling. The Rangers also have Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter pitching in this series, and so hopefully we can get them on the right track as well. But it will be a little risky because obviously Colorado is known for the elevation, and pitchers kind of go to die in Colorado. So hopefully Kumar, MacKenzie Gore, and Jack Leiter can make it out of this series with good pitching performances. So here's the bottom line. The Texas Rangers go into the series at 22-24. They are 2 games under 500, 1 game behind the Athletics in the AL West. This is not a team that can afford to drop a series like one to the Rockies, who is one of the worst teams in all of baseball. They need to win this one. They need to get to 500 at the very least, and they need to build some momentum going forward. The Seager injury is real, and the depth is being tested at the big league level, but I genuinely believe that once Seager gets fully 100% healthy and comes back as himself, this offense has the chance to be dangerous once you add in a hot Jake Burger and with Wyatt Langford on the brink of coming back. In the meantime, guys like Justin Foscue, Ezekiel Duran, and Michael Helman have to step up and make the most of their time at the big league level. This is a big series, so let's see what the Rangers are made of, facing one of the worst teams in all of baseball. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and let me know in the comments, are you worried about the Corey Seager injury, or do you think this actually helped the Rangers in the long term? I'd love to hear your take. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go Rangers.